Once again, we're going to keep drawing. One more. Still with your non-dominant hand, if that's working. Still with as little verbal involvement as you can manage. And this time we're taking that same question to a broader level. So drawing what cross-class solidarity can feel like on a more community level. What economic justice on a community level could feel like, look like, move like. Cross-class dialogue is where we bring together a small group of individuals who are diverse in terms of their class background and current class experiences, and have them spend a few sessions over several weeks or months talking about class. And it's both an experience of learning information about class groups and class experiences they might not be familiar with, about the class system and so on. And it's also an experience of practicing the skills of talking about class across class. Put any finishing touches that you'd like to on that one. And when you're ready, look around at what other folks have drawn, and then find a buddy or two to talk about what came up for you as you're drawing, and what comes up for you now as you're looking at the drawings.
I left things open, just kind of in that.
So in the cross-class dialogues, people are both learning information about class and developing the skills to talk about class, and actually building real relationships across class that will help them bring those skills into their relationships, in their families, in their lives, in the community.
People carry these stories with them every single day and don't have a chance to talk about them. People have a lot of rage and have a lot of guilt and fear and love and complexity, and all of those things get to come into the dialogue circles. And people can show up as their full selves and ask really hard questions.
What I think is incredibly amazing about the cross-class dialogues is the space that they create that is so incredibly safe. And if you happen to come from a marginalized community and you're not used to having a space where you feel like an equal and your story is valued and people really want to listen from the heart, what they do to create that space is so incredibly powerful.
This was really the first opportunity I'd ever had in my life to actually sit down and talk about it in some kind of way. Like before it had just been this kind of vague, general kind of feeling of like, ugh.
One of the biggest ways that the dialogue has affected my life is that I think about class a lot more often. It's just part of my lens now in a more specific way than it was before.
This drawing represents how we think about learning. The green zone is where you're comfortable. The yellow is where you're uncomfortable. And that's where we see the most learning happen. And the red zone is where you're in fight or flight. We don't so much want to be there and encourage people who are in the red zone to come back into the yellow for better learning.
I was not really a very politically active person when I went in, but by the time I came out, that was the big change for me. It kind of started a process where I began to not only be thinking about issues to do with like inequality and class, but also starting to take action on those issues.
As a racial justice organizer, particularly as a white racial justice organizer in a predominantly white area, it felt really important to be spending more time understanding my own class background and blind spots and position as my class position has changed. And also be able to just like engage across classes in that organizing work.
I think it behooves all of us to learn more about the power dynamics that are operating all the time and that we are all part of, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. No, I really want this job.
We don't talk about money in class very often, and so learning how to do that is really stretching the skills that we have.
Having an understanding of class is essential, and cross-class dialogue circles provide that chance to, with other people in a group, to better understand class and how it is impacting our community.
For one thing, I just want more people to go through this process. I think it is so rewarding and transformative to be building cross-class relationships with people you already know in the community and with new people.
And I think that that kind of communication is really key for moving towards a different kind of world, for moving towards a world where everybody has what they need and people are treated with dignity and respect.
It opens your life. It opens you up to the possibilities of more community, more friends, more of like the human experience. It gave me skills, and that's, I think, the most powerful thing for me. I feel like it's just gonna be a lifetime of growth from there.
It was the first time in my life where I had a voice that was equal. And it was the first time I got to share my story.
It was uncomfortable and important, and I think about it all the time, and I talk about it with my friends all the time still.
Participating in Cross-Class Dialogue Circle will change your life.